Hey guys, Shot here. In this video, we're going to talk about prompt engineering, what it is, how to do it, and all the jazz involved in it. This video is part of a whole AI series about how to make AI, how to use AI, and how AI actually works under the hood. Like, pretty much what makes up an AI model and all that kind of stuff and the nits and grits of it, right? So, I recommend highly you watch my first and second video so you know what's going on in this video, so you're not too lost. But if you're hopping in, you can follow through. It's easy to follow along, even if you didn't see those first two videos. But yes, anywho, so what is prompt engineering? So prompt engineering is pretty much what is a prompt. A prompt is a question or a command or information you give to a model like ChatGPT or Claude, right? So if I ask a question, what color are my eyes? It might not be able to answer that because it can't see you, which is obviously that's a bad prompt, for example. Um, and if you tell it, oh, write me an essay or write me code or make me an Excel sheet, these are commands. And if you tell it, hey, I like cheese, that's just telling information. So those are three kind of prompts, right? Now, we're focused mostly on the first two prompts, which is asking a question and getting a good answer and telling it to make or do something for you. These are the main two we're focused on. The other one is you just having fun at that point, right? I'm going to flip between Claude and ChatGPT. So this is Claude.ai. So if you just type, literally, if you type in Claude.ai, that's what other website I'm using. I just want to show y'all this one because it's really cool. It's better for coding. If you're making code, Claude's better. If you want a lot of fancy features, quiz yourself, or you want like a prettier output, then ChatGPT is probably better. But Claude has better output for information and stuff like that. It depends. Each one's good at different things. So I'm gonna give an example of good and bad prompts. Right. I'm just gonna copy and paste them because you sitting here watching me typing is cute and all that, but I'm just gonna show you guys via just copy and pasting it because I pre-wrote them already. So for Claude, this is for coding, right? I'll do a coding example, an essay example, a math example, and then we'll watch a video together on even more examples, right? So let's say I want to make an app. This is a horrible prompt, literally a horrible prompt. Like, what? Help me make an app. Like, what are we doing here? It's not gonna do anything. Yeah, no, that's useless, right? So instead, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna make a new chat, copy and paste it. I'm building an expense tracking app for college students using React. I need help creating a dashboard component that shows monthly spending summary, top 3 spending categories with percentages, and a simple bar chart of daily expenses for the current week. The design should be mobile friendly with a clean, modern look. Can you provide the component code with sample data? All I said was pretty much make me an app that shows me this type of data that I'm looking for, make it look nice and fit on phones, and give me the code for it so I can, modify it myself and put data in that app so that way I can just play with it. Like put dummy data inside so I can play with it. That's all I said to it, right? But you see how saying what I just said wouldn't be effective? Instead, I broke it down in detail. So let me just have it do its thing. Yeah. So now it's producing code. So now, the idea that I'm trying to teach you guys is that AI is not going to take over jobs. For you to ask proper questions about a particular subject and field, you still need to know about that subject and field. Okay? So people had this misconception that AI is going to take over all these things, but you still need to know the thing to ask questions properly. I wouldn't be able to ask these kind of questions unless I knew about how to make apps. All right, so now it's done producing the app, and this is what it created. It literally made what I asked. It's just really crazy, right? And that's just with proper prompt engineering. And then the code's right here. If I want to copy and paste that code and modify stuff and use this as a base and add on to it myself, right? So this is an example of what a good prompt can do, right? Now let's find another example of a different prompt. So let's do like an essay, right? This is everyone's favorite. Write me an essay. So now for the essay, I'm actually going to put it in ChatGPT because it's usually better at this kind of stuff because it just looks nicer. So this is a bad prompt. Write my essay about climate change for my English class. Horrible prompt. Boom. There's your essay you turn into class. I think we're like 3 paragraphs. Yeah. Let's break this down better. So I'm writing a bunch of different, let's see, so pretty much I'll read it out to you. So the prompt that I wrote was, I need to write a 5-paragraph essay about climate change solutions for my high school English class. Can you help me brainstorm 3 main arguments, suggest an outline structure, and provide some credible sources as your research? I want to write it myself, but I need help organizing my thoughts. And that's what I asked it instead. And as you can see, it's producing now what I asked it to do. Way more clear output. And it even gives you some sources to go do your own research on top of that. So these links work. So if I click this link right here, it takes me to a website where I can research this on my own and actually read it and understand it myself, right? So it understood the assignment, okay? So there's that. So the thing with these models is you gotta understand, so when you talk to your mom, your little brother, and your teacher, you talk to everyone different. So let's say I want to ask my mom for a glass of water. Hey mom, could you get me a glass of water, please? Simple. Okay, it's your mom. Now your little brother. Hey Bobby, he's like 5 years old. Let's pretend he's 5 years old. Hey Bobby, can you get that cup over there, please? And be very careful when you bring it over to me. You don't even tell him there's water inside, right? And then let's say it's your teacher. Like let's say it's your college teacher and you're in a college class. Professor, this is a really weird request. I really need you to give me that bottle of water. I know it's weird. Just please do it for me. I'll explain later. Because otherwise, he going to give you that water at all, right? You see how my question changed depending on who I was talking to? You need to talk to AI a certain way, too, to get what you want out of it. Otherwise, it's going to just produce whatever it feels like making, and it's not going to be what you want, okay? And the last thing is steps. When you want an AI to make something very complex, like a 10-paragraph essay, you need to ask it instead to make 1 paragraph at a time. And let's say you want to make a whole entire app, you need to make the app in parts, 1 at a time. Don't make the AI write the whole app code all at once. It's not going to work very well. Same thing with like a game, same thing with 10-paragraph essay. Just anything that's super complex and a lot of text and a lot of code has to be written, have it write it in parts, step by step, okay? So that's just the last example I wanted to give to you guys. And now let's watch this video together and get some more content. This is a dope creator. Check him out. I believe you should learn from more than one teacher. Don't just stick to one person and learn everything from them. Learn from one than more teacher. It will accelerate and richen your learning experience.
I don't usually overhype myself, but in this video, we're going over the only formula you will ever need to master prompting on ChatGPT and Google Bard. So, let's get started. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jeff. I work full-time in tech, and if you're anything like me a couple months ago, you know prompting is an important skill to learn, but you're not exactly sure why some prompts generate outputs that are super generic, while others give you precisely what you're looking for. Since then, I've spent hundreds of hours taking prompt engineering courses and applying what I've learned in my daily life. And so in this video, I'm sharing the 6 building blocks that make up a good prompt so that you can use this formula to consistently generate high quality outputs. First, it's critical to not only know what the 6 components are, task, context, exemplars, persona, format, and tone, but also know that there's an order of importance to these 6 components. To show you what I mean, let's use this simple example. I'm a 70 kg male, give me a 3-month training program. The first part is context, followed by the task. The reason why the task is higher up in the formula hierarchy is if we just input the task without the context, there's still some sort of meaningful output. But if we just give ChatGPT the context, nothing really happens. Put another way, it's mandatory to have a task in your prompt. It's important to include relevant context and exemplars, and it's nice to have persona, format, and tone. When you think of writing your prompt, go down this mental.
I would say persona, format, and tone are good for emails, character development for like storytelling, and things like that is when it's really good. Or you want to get a text message to somebody, sorry. Things like that. Usually you don't really use those 3.
Mental checklist. So this formula will act as a constant reminder for you to include just enough relevant information when writing prompts. And as you'll see in this next part, you do not need all 6 components in every prompt to have a good output. Now let's break down each building block with.
Also, you can write those components out of order. So you can have the tone first, and then the task, and then the context, or the context, and then the task, or the task, then the context. The order doesn't matter. as long as it makes sense when you write it.
With specific examples, starting with the task. The rule of thumb is to always start the task sentence with an action verb. Generate, give, write, analyze, etc. and clearly articulate what your end goal is. It could be one simple task like generating a 3-month training program, or a complex 3-step task like analyzing hundreds of user feedback, sharing the top 3 takeaways, and categorizing the feedback based on the team responsible for following up. The second component, context, is the trickiest to get right because technically there's an infinite amount of information you can give. So I found asking myself these 3 questions to be super helpful in coming up with just enough information to get a good result from ChatGPT. First, what's the user's background? Second, what does success look like? And third, what environment are they in? Back to the workout example, we now have, I'm a 70 kg male looking to put on 5 kilograms of muscle mass over the next 3 months. I only have time to go to the gym twice a week and for 1 hour each session. Give me a 3-month training program to follow. Could I have added more background information? Of course. Only prioritize the muscle groups that make me look good on Instagram. But the key to staying productive with ChatGPT and Bard is giving just enough information to constrain the endless possibilities. By the way, although this video is not sponsored, it is supported by those of you who subscribe to my paid productivity newsletter on Google Workspace Tips. Link in the description to learn more. Moving over to the exemplars component, it's just a fancy way of saying examples. Basically, all the research on large language models, LLMs, have shown that including examples within the prompt drastically improves the quality of the output. Starting with a simple example, this is a poorly written bullet point from a resume. We can now ask ChatGPT to rewrite this bullet point using this structure. I accomplished X by the measure Y that resulted in Z, which is actually best practice, by the way. So actually do this in your resume. For example, I lowered hospital mortality rate by 10% by educating nurses in new protocols, which translates to 200 lives saved per year. Here's a slightly more complicated example for interview prep. Based on my own resume, write me an answer to the interview question, what's your biggest weakness? Use the STAR answer framework: situation, task, action, and results. Here, instead of using a full-blown interview answer as an example, which would be overkill, the STAR framework acts as an example structure for ChatGPT to follow. Last example.
STAR is just a format for an answer, essentially. So, like, there's a lot of different kind of formats out there.
Let's say you need to write a job description. You give some context around the opening and ask ChatGPT to reference an existing job description. If I use this one I found on LinkedIn, the output will follow the same formatting and use the same professional HRE language, saving me a bunch of time. Main takeaway here: exemplars are not necessary for every prompt, but including a relevant example or framework will greatly improve the quality of your output. Moving along, the persona component is basically who you want ChatGPT and Bard to be. And the pro tip here is to think of someone you wish you had instant access to with the task you're facing. If you injured yourself working out, that person might be a physical therapist with experience helping athletes recover. If you're a job seeker, that person might be a recruiter or hiring manager. If you're working on a creative brief, that person might be a senior product marketing manager who's great at storytelling. Pro tip, you can also name specific individuals, but I found the results to be good only when they're famous enough, like Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, Jeff Sue. By the way, I just had to share this.
And this goes to show that the AI isn't tracking people as they think it is. Like, I can't ask about the person across the street who lives in this certain apartment, whatever their name is. Most of these LLMs, aka AI, aka ChatGPT, has privacy policies.
We have a team offsite with a superheroes theme, so I asked ChatGPT to draft an email from Batman, and it even included things like, please let Alfred know, and signed off as the Dark Knight. So fictional characters work as well, and I'm actually gonna use this. The fifth component, format. The pro tip here is to literally close your eyes and visualize how exactly you want the end result to look like. 1 million likes on my Thirst Bomb Instagram photo. Damn it, didn't work. Back to the user feedback example, I don't want to read each sentence, so I asked ChatGPT to take all the feedback and output a table with 3 headers: the original feedback, the team responsible for following up, and priority. And now I can copy this directly and paste it into a Google Sheet. Sort by priority and filter by team. Other common formats include emails, bullet points, and code blocks, but the one I found to be the most useful as a full-time working professional is paragraphs and Markdown. For example, I just received a lengthy industry report from my director. First, give me the 3 key takeaways, then summarize based on topic. Use H2 as section headers. Here is the report. Pro tip, whenever I use ChatGPT to proofread any document, I specify that all changes need to be bolded so I can easily see exactly what has been changed. Let's quickly go through the last component, tone, before we...
That bold statement is really powerful, really unique. I never thought about that, but that's really cool. He thought about that. So take that for what it is. That AI can do a lot of different things with text. You just got to get really, really creative and push the boundaries so you know what it can or can't do.
We put all this together in one example. The good news is tone is easy to understand. Use a casual or formal tone of voice. Give me a witty output. Show enthusiasm. Sound pessimistic. The bad news is we're usually not very good at recalling the thousands of potential adjectives and adverbs at a moment's notice. So here's a pro tip. Tell ChatGPT the feeling you're going for. For example, I'm writing an email to a team I haven't worked with before and I want to be taken seriously without coming off as too stuck up and cringy. Can you please give me a list of 5 tone keywords I can include in a prompt for ChatGPT? And look, now in the actual prompt, I can say, use clear and concise language and write in a friendly yet confident tone. Putting all this together, let's look at this comprehensive prompt. You are a senior product marketing manager at Apple, persona, and you have just unveiled the latest Apple product in collaboration with Tesla, the Apple car, and received 12,000 pre-orders, which is 200% higher than target. Context. Write an email to your boss, Tim Cookie, sharing this positive news. Task and format. The email should include a TLDR, too long didn't read section, project background, why this product came into existence, business results section, quantifiable business metrics, and end with a section thanking the product and engineering teams. Example structure. Use clear and concise language and write in a confident yet friendly tone. Tone. Note that if I had an existing email to reference, I could delete the instructions around the structure and simply tell ChatGPT the email should follow the exact same format as the one I will share below and paste the email from before. By the way, you can compare the output from this prompt to that of a simpler prompt. I just launched a new product, the Apple car. I received 12,000 pre-orders. Please run an email to my boss with this update. There's a pretty big difference in terms of how generic and usable.
All right, cool. So that was a great example that he gave, or multiple examples he gave, and he broke it down with really cool visuals. So if you want to learn AI one-on-one, I can teach you AI one-on-one. If you want me to teach AI to a group or a department at your company or your job or a bunch of your friends, I can do that as well, even in a classroom setting. If you want me to help you build an AI app, you want me to help you build an automation system, you want me to show you how to design all these things, how to design AI, how to train them, how to do anything involving AI that you have questions about, you want some one-on-one time to ask your questions to an experienced person, email me below. My email is in the description below. I've been working in AI, data, programming, all that stuff for like 7 years now. So I have a lot of experience, mostly in the AI and data space, which every business wants and cares about. So just reach out to me. I have plenty of experience working at multiple different companies. And yeah, I'm here to help and answer all your questions. So if you have any questions on YouTube, put them down below in the comment section. Otherwise, just email me. And yeah, but I appreciate you guys very, very much. All right, catch you guys later. Peace.